Hello and welcome to TechWatch, the EdTech video news program produced by eSchool News. I'm Dennis Pierce. eSchool News recently sat down with Keith Krueger, Chief Executive Officer of the Consortium for School Networking, who offered insights into what he says is the most important aspect of technology for schools. Krueger also revealed why he thinks this is an exciting time to be an educator. eSchool News Associate Editor Laura Devaney has more.
At the Consortium for School Networking's annual conference earlier this year, COSN Chief Executive Keith Krueger touched on a variety of topics in a far-ranging interview on technology's value for schools. Among other things, Krueger said technology's greatest potential to transform education lies in its ability to personalize instruction.
I think the greatest potential of technology in education is around personalized learning or individualization. Certainly it's something that good educators have always tried to do. I think that the power of technology is to take that to the next level, and we really see that in other industry sectors. When you go on Amazon.com, they don't think of you as an average customer. They think of what you've done before. They predict what you might be interested in. That's what we need to get to on the learning side. We need to individualize instruction and help the teacher so that they know what that individual student knows, but even beyond that, what interventions might help the student succeed.
Another topic Krueger touched on was how to measure technology's value in schools.
For years we've had folks say, well, what's the ROI of technology? Why should we do it? And we certainly get those questions from superintendents and school boards and decision makers and legislators in Congress. We've come to the conclusion that ROI isn't the right term, that it's really, the question that we're asking is what's the value? We're not a business, we're not about profitability or return to shareholders, and efficiency is great, but that's not the core mission of schools. So we know that educators, particularly those who are education technology champions, are pretty good at giving a vision around why we want to make an investment. Maybe we want to engage kids, or maybe we want to provide a ubiquitous environment, or whatever the issue is. But all too often, after the vision is set and the program starts, there hasn't been a decision on what sort of the metrics are for measuring whether or not we're making any progress towards those visions. Frankly, as technology leaders, I don't think that we have much credibility with our decision makers if we don't be real honest about what the cost is and really looking at what the value is. And so we need a whole set of a toolbox for educators to really succeed and make the case.
Krueger said Web 2.0 technologies are changing the nature of education, and he offered his thoughts on how school leaders can best harness their potential.
I think it really is kind of, again, a very exciting time. There are these new, what I would call collaborative tools, whether it's wikis or blogs or IMing or or collaborative share environments where it isn't so much about content being delivered or information being shared by one other person, but rather building knowledge and customizing it for that individual, or in the case of maybe a community, a classroom, building a wiki for their community.
Finally, Krueger talked about how open technologies are changing the EdTech landscape, and he finished with a warning for school leaders.
Open technologies is a very profound shift for education, one that we're at a very, very early stage at. And all too often, educators think that by open technologies we're only talking about open source, and we're not. But open technologies is, and we have a major initiative in that area, is really about interoperability. Right now we have a lot of closed, stovetop sort of solutions that don't talk to each other. So you end up with data over here about attendance that doesn't talk to our student information system, and it isn't connected to the classroom data that's real time. So we need to move towards interoperability. We have all these powerful tools, and yet schools pretty much ban an awful lot of them. What is the right balance of enabling openness and collaboration, which is what the purpose of an educational network is, and keeping it safe and secure so that the inappropriate things that happen on the web don't happen during school hours or to our teachers or students. So it's about managing risk, and it's about educating your superintendents, your parents, your school boards about the fact that, you know, we're not talking about a bank network where we only want it to do 2 or 3 things when we slide in our ATM card. That educational networks are about learning, and that's collaborative and involves a lot of people. And if we clamp down our network so tightly that it becomes unusable for education, then all we have is really an expensive administrative system.
For eSchool News, I'm Laura Devaney.
eSN TV, your #1 source for video news and information from North America's leading EdTech publications, from the world's foremost EdTech website, the eSchool News Network, America's EdTech authority. Watch eSN TV. Encounter the field's most fascinating personalities, the innovators who are turning the old school into the e-school. Watch eSN TV. Meet notable educators, advocates, and leaders. Watch eSN TV. Get real-time coverage of EdTech's most important gatherings. Stay up to the minute. Get the EdTech news and information you need to succeed. Watch eSchool News TV.